To a kind of a rainy sports talk here on a Saturday morning. Looking at the radar, though, it shows that should be going through. We'll talk with Joe just in a minute here about what's happening down the tennis courts because the Mid-Continent League tennis is scheduled to get underway right now, but they had some rain and they have to squeegee the courts and get ready to go for that. But it looked like that line of thunder showers or whatever should be moving out of the area pretty good. Of course, the Sports Talk brought to you every Saturday morning at this time by the First National Bank and Trust, proudly supporting Panther Athletics. Prices are falling at Olive Bowie Furniture during their fall clearance sale on select king, queen, and full-size bedding. Quantities are limited, so go see Terry and Jim today and save. The Sunburst Realty LLC, where you find the best homes under the sun. Professional family eye care. See Dr. Gilman for all of your eye care needs. Coombs Trucking, you call, we haul. Wyman Firestone Tire Sales and Service. It's not what you make and what you keep there. That's at Mapes and Miller. All your friends at the Farmers State Bank in Phillipsburg, where interest begins the moment you enter the door. Interest in you. Member FDIC. Mid-America Real Estate, providing the best homes in the area for over 40 years. Blossoms and Butterflies, making beautiful flowers a part of your life. Madison Motors, in business for over 70 years. Rogers & Associates, your local trusted choice agency. Phillips County Health Systems, the Olive Bowie Memorial Chapel. Of course, on Saturday, we're here and serving at the pleasure of the folks at the 3rd Street Bakery. Linda's going to be coming on and talking about the big donut wars they're having. We'll see what's going to be happening on that. The donuts are going to be decorated, and we'll talk all about that with Linda. And, of course, she supplies the drink and the food for the athletes and coaches who come in. Joe, you didn't make it to the donut. Okay. Okay, I forgot to mention, I didn't mean to slight you there. Rachel Miller's our co-host. Through the years, you may be a groundbreaker. I don't think we have ever had a lady on, and I thought, why not? You guys do a great job. So
I appreciate it. Thank you.
I think you're going to be kind of groundbreaking here, getting the other people on here.
There you go.
Thanks for coming on, Rachel. Rachel, we did games and basketball and everything. We've known Rachel for a long, long time. Let's talk about some scores. And we have scheduled also this morning Mike Jenner. He's here with some of his players, and we met Joe Brush. He'll talk about the game last night. It was homecoming. We tried to get both the king and queen on, but they're doing other things. Tennis, maybe. They're going to get playing John Gower as the king, and Christina Sisson was the queen, so congratulations to both of those folks. Quite a big homecoming celebration, was it? We had you on Thursday morning talking about that.
Yeah, we had a good crowd. It was really nice to see everybody there, alumni and all the fans, and I think it went over really well.
And of course, homecoming was always a big thing. You kind of, what do you do for homecoming or Eastern Heights? What can you do? Do you have to go to Thunder Ridge now? Is that how do they do that for homecoming?
I don't make it back for that. Let alone any alumni meetings.
Okay.
So.
Fine. Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll talk with Rachel Moore here and also with Joe. Scores. Mid-Continent League last night. Well, it was the Phillipsburg and Ellis. The Raiders came in. It was homecoming. Phillipsburg go to 5-0, 69-13. Smith Center Oakley. Smith Center went to Oakley. The Plainsmen down there, and Smith Center got that 62-6. Cimarron and TMP Marion. Cimarron. That's 44-35. Republic County and Plainville. Republic County still looking for their first win of the season as Plainville got them 50-6. We finally got the Norton score. Norton defeated Southwestern Heights for their homecoming last night, 56-14. That was the hardest score to find, was Norton. And in fact, thanks to Rachel for getting it, using her inside track to get the score in the Norton game. In the 8-man in the Mid-Continent League, Trigo and Hill City. Hill City, the Ringnecks, getting at 35-14. And it was Stockton, Sylvan Lucas, getting at by a score of 50-0. So Sylvan Lucas goes to 5-0. Western Kansas Liberty League, this is 8-man. Logan Palco, they have their first loss of the season. Victoria, they go to 4-1, 50-26. We'll be talking with some of the Logan players, also Logan Palco players, and some of the players and the coach. Lakeside, Northern Valley, they go to 3-2, 46-6 over Lakeside. Lakeside still looking for their first win. And Dighton go to 5-0, 49-0 over Tri-Plains Brewster. Northern Plains League 8-man, Thunder Ridge and Wilson. Thunder Ridge, they get their first win as they got Wilson last night 62-12. Osborne 58, Solomon 40. Pike Valley 56-0 over Southern Cloud. Pike Valley, they go 5-0. It was Rock Hills 66, Tesket 16. Rock Hills 5-0. That's Mankato, of course. The St. John's Beloit Tipton and Lynn. St. John's Beloit Tipton winning at 53-6. And it was Stafford getting by Chase 28-22. In Western Athletic Conference, Garden City Liberal 28-27. They blocked an extra point attempt to get that win last night. So the Buffaloes, they go to 5-0 over Liberal. That was always a big, when I was in Garden City growing up there, that was always a big game on Thanksgiving Day. Garden City and the Redskins, the Buffaloes and the Redskins always went at it on Thanksgiving. Of course, for the advent of the playoffs, that's all changed now because the day after Thanksgiving or the Saturday after Thanksgiving, they play for the championship of the state. Hayes High and Valley Center. Valley Center 24-7, so Hayes High goes to 2-3. Wichita West, Great Bend 42-18 winners there, and Dodge City defeated Wichita South 35-19. Okay, Rachel.
All right, we'll start in the Great West Activities Conference. Colby and Holcomb matched up last night. Holcomb handed Colby their first loss on the season. Score was 27-0. Holcomb moves to 4-1. Goodland and Huguenin over Goodland 28-20. Scott City tops Ulysses 42-11. In the North Central Activities Association, Beloit and Russell squared off, Beloit winning 36-14. Southeast of Saline over Minneapolis 53-13. And Ellsworth over Salina Sacred Heart 38-27. Into the Northwest Kansas League, some 8-man games. Big one out in St. Francis last night between Hoxie and St. Francis. St. Francis tops Hoxie 16-8, giving Hoxie its first loss on the season. Otis Bison over Sharon Springs 70-24. Hodgman County tops Tribune 60-14. Quinter and Oberlin, both teams looking for their first win. Oberlin topped Quinter 58-12. Some other scores from around the area: Conway Springs over Wichita Trinity 62-35. Pratt over Hoisington 35-28. Nickerson over Larned 27-7. Junction City 61, Topeka Highland Park 12. Manhattan and Topeka Seaman, Manhattan topping Topeka Seaman 27-9. Hutch Trinity and El Saline, two undefeated teams, squared off. El Saline going away with the win 14-6. Marysville and Clay Center squared up, Marysville winning 28-8. Concordia 35 over Abilene 17. Jackson Heights 44, Washington County 0. And Clifton Clyde over Harrington 52-0.
In Washington County, had last week they had a forfeit. They gave them a forfeit. They were supposed to play Hoisington, I think, and then so yeah, it's a long year, I think, there for Washington County. Some of the other games in 8-man, these are 8-man scores. Axtell defeated Frankfort 50-36. It was Blue Valley Randolph losing in Wakefield to 56-6. Central Plains and Canton Galva. Central Plains go to 4-1 with a 60-0 win over Canton Galva. Ness City and Kinsley. Ness City getting at. Silver Lake, well, they continue along, not by so much. They had a closer one last night. They only won 14-0 over Rossville. Rock Creek and Riley County again at 41-21, and La Crosse 56, Bled 8. 6-man play, 6-man. Western Plains and Natoma, they get their first win of the season. 51-0 over Western Plains. Wheaton and Grinnell and Weskin 54-20. Cheyenne and Pawnee Heights 52-26, doubling the score over to Cheyenne, and Golden Plains and Fowler. Golden Plains getting at 36-26. So more and more 6-man scores coming in there as some of the schools out there get smaller and smaller. We'll talk with Joe in just a moment about the Panthers, how homecoming went last night. That reminder that the Sports Talk brought to you along with the Tad Bowl every Thursday morning by the First National Bank and Trust, proudly supporting Panther athletics. Prices are falling at Olive Bovey Furniture during their fall clearance sale on select king, queen, and full-size bedding. Quantity is limited, so go see Terry and Jim today. Save. Sunburst Realty LLC, where you find the best homes under the sun. Professional family eye care. See Dr. Juneman, For all of your eye care needs, Coombs Trucking, you call, we haul, and Weinman Firestone Tire Seals and Service, backing the youth of Phillips County. Well, thank you for coming in, Joe, and we appreciate you taking a little time. It's still raining out there?
Yeah, it was raining a little bit when I came up here. Mr. Moon was over bringing some stats this morning, and he was getting more squeegees, and I saw the girls, squeegeeing the courts off. And looks like it's going to clear up a little bit, and they'll be able to have their little MLC tennis tournament today.
Yeah, that's always, of course, a big time, and of course you got the extra courts there now. They have 2 more extra courts. Volleyball today, they're in Great Bend for their tournament there. So that's always a big tournament at Great Bend.
Yeah, I think it is. I know they left early this morning. I saw them getting on the bus, getting ready to go. And coming off Thursday night, I believe they played, or Tuesday night they played very well. And so hopefully they can keep it rolling today down in Great Bend. And I know it'll be good competition because you get some bigger schools.
I think, and of course that helps you get better too. People say you want to play the best to get better, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I think Coach Keaton, she has some of those tournaments, and sometimes they're not going to win that tournament every time, and some years they do. But I think it makes them better later on in the season for sure.
All right, let's talk about homecoming. Now, Thursday morning when I was interviewing Rachel, we talked about it. Coaches always told me that they weren't the most excited the week in homecoming. It was always to try to get the boys focusing on football instead of what was going on all week. How was it this week out there?
The kids did a great job with it this week, and I think part of it is the planning of what goes on at our school. We have a lot of people that do a good job planning those activities and events, and our kids understand kind of what's going to go on throughout the week, and I think it went well. They had fun, but within reason. I think football players, we had a pretty good week of practice considering everything that's going on, but we were pretty focused, and I think we had a really good night on Wednesday and a good focus practice on Thursday night. So homecoming week went very well, and a lot of our boys, the older kids, they understand. They've played a lot of football, and they understand that you got to be focused come game time on Friday night.
Okay, so all the festivities out of the way, and then you get ready to go with your football. How did things go last night? 69 to 13.
We started off well again. Our kids were ready to play. Came out excited, fired up, but like I said, focused, and everything went right early for us for the most part. We had a couple miscues on the goal line with a bad snap. They had a couple guys up blitzing, so we had a bad snap, and then we kind of had a handoff that didn't go right. Other than that, I thought we executed well, and that's everybody that played, young guys, old guys alike. So we were happy with the outcome of the game.
I'm sure you guys have probably already graded out certain areas of the game last night. What would you say is the one area that you guys would really like to key on going into next week to shore up for next week and beyond?
Well, I just think footwork's always an issue with me being a line coach. There's always little things you can do with footwork up front, as far as a step here, or you need to get your head on the correct side. You need to keep running your feet. We didn't have a ton of penalties, and a couple of penalties that we saw as we watched on tape, we're not sure that, and it's tough to tell from a referee's perspective on exactly what happened, but those things as a coach, you always want to clean up those penalties because later on they will hurt you. And we had one for sure last night that probably was a penalty. It was just a good effort play. It's just you got to hit somebody in front instead of behind. And we're trying to get them coached up for later on a tougher game where those penalties will have a great impact on an outcome a lot of times. So that's one thing that we want to keep focused on, and just our backs, and we got several good backs. They haven't had a lot of carries, so we got to keep conditioning and practice and stuff like that to keep those guys ready for later on when we have to rely on a Kirk Coombs or somebody like that to have 20 carries.
Well, I know the guys said something about running, I don't remember what the number was, of hundreds. They ran the other day in practice, and they were saying how, and I probably shouldn't tell you this, but overall they felt good after running all of those. So that was a good sign, saying they still have gotten some conditioning, maybe not having played full games.
Actually, that we're up to running 800s, and they're getting to where they can they can run them not at full speed and still make their times. We actually ran 1000s on Tuesday.
Okay, well I heard 13, so they're exaggerating.
Well, that might be coming for some disciplinary action. No, but and they do a good job with that. They're a competitive group, so a lot of times you'll get guys competing in those races, at the end of practice too. But I think they're getting in shape. But when you have 57 guys, you don't maybe always get the reps in practice when you have 37 guys on the team. So that is one thing we need to watch as we go on.
How important is halftime? I mean, is that when you come in and have a chance to look at the first half and see what's going on and what isn't going on? Did you get quite a bit of information to the boys in the halftime, you think?
Halftime's very important, and games where we need to make an adjustment defensively, say for example, or we need to tell them, okay, this is how they're running their defense. We need to block it this way. We need to switch a responsibility where, like the tackle's turning out and the tight end's going to get back, or switching those responsibilities is important at halftime. You don't get a lot of time to make a bunch of adjustments, so you got to make 2 or 3 that you know are going to be effective in those big games. Here lately, we've been organizing special teams groups at halftime the last couple of weeks to get a different group of special teams players out there. That's important too, because those kids need those opportunities to play, in the second half.
We asked JB last week, and then kind of continuing this, the fact that the first unit not getting all that much playing time, that has to be a little bit of, it's a good problem to have, I guess, but it also can be a problem to get that experience for some of the players. But of course the seniors have been around and they've pretty good experience.
Yeah, they understand that it's a good and bad problem. It's a good problem where you get other guys opportunities and reps and stuff like that. But like these guys sitting down here, they want to play every down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and that's a great problem to have. They want to be in there every snap that they can get, and not just these two. There's a bunch of them. They want to play every down, and we got to get other guys experience. And at the same time, sometimes we need to watch injuries and stuff down the road with our first team guys.
Yeah, that was, to me, when I look at games like last night, that was the one thing that worries me as a fan, and is just getting out of the game injury-free,
Yeah, and we've done that for the most part up to this point, but as coaches, we will definitely kick ourselves if we have somebody in late in the game where maybe they don't need to be, and they're in a position where they get rolled up on, which I know can happen any play, but we'll kick ourselves late in the game for sure if somebody's in there and we get them hurt, or they miss a game, or a serious injury. So that's one thing we are looking at. Eventually Coach Covington usually just says, I want to start rotating a few offensive linemen in, so I'll start doing that, and then maybe the next series he's like, I want to go with the whole second group of O-linemen. So, and he'll sometimes want to run the second group of backs with the first offensive line, and we did that for a series last night. And so it just kind of depends on the game and how things are going, but we do want to keep these guys healthy as much as we can.
Okay, all right. So you with the Raiders last night, any surprises? Did they do pretty much what you thought they were going to do?
Yeah, they pretty much did what we had seen on film. They did run a little kind of a curl trap out of what Coach Jacobs thinks is kind of a belly action, which is a good little play, and that was the one thing that they maybe hit a couple times on us. Now they didn't have many yards on it just because these guys, swarmed to the ball and made great tackles, but their little curl trap was a tough play because all the action's going one way and they bring the fullback back the other with the backside guard pulling, and it's an effective little play that they're running.
And they showed some speed. I think our ends kind of kept them contained, and that helped because they had a couple backs with some speed.
Yeah,
they could have got outside, but we did a good job containing them.
Yeah, and you saw that maybe later on. We had a couple ends that went inside later in the game,
right, and
they did hit us for some yards outside. So they did have a little bit of speed, but our first couple units of defense played exceptionally well. The first half, I think, they had -2 yards rushing in the first half and maybe hit one pass for 6 yards. So defensively, they played very well.
The Mid-Continental League was kind of instrumental, one of the first leagues to go with a continuous clock, I think. And is that a CASIA rule now, or is that still a league rule on the continuous clock?
Well, it goes league by league. Our rule now is 45 points. It used to be 40, and we changed a year or two ago. I don't know, maybe I'm wrong on that. But we changed it to what the state says, 45 points, run the clock after halftime. Now the clock did run the last 4 minutes of the second quarter, kind of agreed upon by both teams last night. And the official wanted the clock running with 4 minutes to go in the second quarter, so we ran the clock from that point on.
And that also brings, again, you get a lead. Does the fact that the game is over quicker, that gives less time for maybe the second and third units to play? Is that a bad thing or a good thing? Of course, you have to think about injuries too.
Right. Once we get the first couple groups out of there, it goes really quick. So you got to be subbing guys every couple plays for anybody to get any plays. And where we're really deep at some positions, it's tough for everybody to even get in the game just because time's running out.
Okay, we might mention a little bit next year, and they do 2 years at a time in football. Everything else is each year on the classification. So this year, Phillipsburg will still be 3A and everything except football. But next year, so some people said, well, Phillipsburg's 2A in football. No. Next year is when that starts with the new realignment and everything in it.
That's correct. Everything the rest of this year will be 3A, all the rest of the sports. Next year we will go to 2A. Actually, I think next week they go to or maybe this week they go to a scheduling meeting this Tuesday or something.
Yeah.
They'll go to a scheduling meeting where we're 2A and we'll have a 2A schedule for the next 2 years.
Andy Kennedy, the AD, is going to be on next Saturday to tell about the meeting, because that's always wild. I used to talk to that's when you figure out who you're going to be playing next year.
That's right, and I think they do they've already had a couple meetings within our league. They do a lot of preparation ahead of time to try and get games and get people scheduled for our non-district games. And so I know Mr. Kenny and Mr. Bowman have been working on that this week. Even once the classifications came out, they're calling and trying to get games lined up, so we have a full schedule, which that can be a problem sometimes.
I think most of the movement was right there at the 3A, 2A. I mean, I think I remember only seeing maybe 3 schools move 6A, 5A, 4A. Most of it was 2A and 3A, if I remember.
Yeah, I think there's 16 schools that would be moving from 4A down to 3A, which would not football-wise would affect us, but I saw your Colby's, Goodland, Scott Cities.
Yeah.
That's where there is quite a bit of movement.
When that affected the volleyball sub-state.
Yeah, sure.
Those came out here Thursday maybe or something.
Right. So they have to wait and see with new classifications and everything. But football is going to be a little different now.
Yeah, and it's going to be a lot like 3A, just the way they reclassified. We're going to be playing a lot of the same schools, kind of the way it looks right now with our new 2A schedule.
And then taking the bigger schools, the 6As, they have a different situation too. So, and Hayes High, I think they're 4A1 now, and I think they're going to go to 5A. Yeah.
So they are going 5A.
So scheduling can be a problem out here, and I know that's why they meet in Salina to do that, because I've talked to coaches who have gone down there and administrators. They go down and they'll holler out, I need someone to play me on Friday, October such and such, and anyone got an open date, and someone down the other end of the state might have it, but you don't want to spend all that time traveling. It's difficult, isn't it?
I think that happens in those meetings. They're scrambling around to try and find games, because I think coaches, they don't like those open weeks, and so they're looking wherever they can, different classes, different parts of the state, to try and find a game to play.
And they're trying to get away from that Thursday, Tuesday, Saturday thing too, I think, in the football situation, aren't they?
Yeah, there's been, because there's only been 2 classifications in the state that have been doing that, and that's 5 games or 3 games in 2 games in 5 days, and then 3 in 10 days,
something like that.
Which is difficult turnaround sometimes.
Okay, so all right, who'd you bring this? Well, who do you go next week? Let's talk about next week first.
Next week we have Larned, and they definitely have some athletes, and we played them twice last year, so we're becoming familiar with one another. We played them in JV, so we know a little bit about Larned, and they definitely improved throughout the season last year, and we had a tough game in the playoffs down there at Larned. We're going back to Larned, and we know they have some athletes back, so it'll be a good challenge for us coming up this week.
Larned, Steve Dickerson got them last night, 27-7. So
yeah, I think Nickerson just moved into the rankings in 4A2. I haven't seen any of that film yet. We were just starting to watch that film, but looked like they have some athletes, and they have pretty good numbers, both Nickerson and Larned. So,
what does Larned present? More of an air attack or like the rushing attack?
No, they're going to run the ball more. That's what we're going to have to defend first, stop the run. And they can throw it a little bit. They have a couple receivers that are really athletic, so we'll have to be aware of where they're lined up at all times. But, they have some speed in the backfield, and they probably have some size up front. I know they lost a couple kids off their line last year that were good football players, so they'll replace them, and they'll be a tough test for us. So we're looking forward to that this week.
Joe, you last year played them twice, different scores. They say the more times you play the team, the closer it's getting, eventually the other team will get you. Have you seen that through the years?
Yeah, that can definitely happen, definitely be true. The first time we played very well up here, and then I think after that, Larned really got going after they played us, and they were ready for the challenge in the playoffs, and it was a tougher game, just a different kind of game. Maybe we didn't have the breaks we had or the big runs early like we had up here, and so it ended up being kind of a dogfight down there, and our kids scrapped together and held it together and got that win.
Okay, now who'd you bring? Who's next to you there?
Right here I have J.C. Kellerman. He plays defensive end, and he's a receiver for us. He's a senior. Just a great all-around player. He plays special teams as well. He's really worked hard, over the last couple years, as far as working in the weight room. He's a very smart player, which is to his credit. And he's in the rotation at defensive end and at receiver. And then I also have Kirk Coombs over here, who's, everybody thinks he's been around here forever. that Coombs name, but Kirk's been a very good player for us for, all his high school career.
Sure, right, yeah.
And Kirk, he's actually moved to defensive end this year, and so it's a new position for him, and he's adjusted very, very well and playing real tough at defensive end. And of course, everybody probably knows he's one of our running backs.
Okay, let's talk first, JC, a little bit about playing your football. What's your favorite part of the football? Offense, defense. What do you like?
I like defense a lot.
Yeah.
You don't have to think as much as you do on offense. It's more fun, I think.
Well, you can hit too. That's and then we kind of belay the things that's a good. You get a chance to pop someone once in a while, like that. Was it a good homecoming week? Did you have a good?
Yeah, it was pretty busy, but I thought that what is it called when you dress up?
Spirit Week.
Spirit Week.
I thought Spirit Week they had some good Spirit Weeks this year. My favorite was Country versus Country Club.
Okay, yeah, that was Thursday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Because I know you showed up on the tadpole and some of that you could wear what you wanted to almost, couldn't you?
Yeah.
Did you go country club or
Yeah,
country?
I went Country Club. I got an outfit from a golfing outfit,
Really?
with knickers from Jeff Jarvis,
Wow.
and so I was.
I don't know how he didn't win.
Really?
He wasn't one of the winners for that day.
Yeah,
but
he was.
Was he?
I just announced him.
Oh,
He was
okay.
actually
All
first
right.
on the sheet.
Okay.
When you say you got an outfit from Jeff Jarvis,
Yeah.
see Lance laughing back here. That's a scary thing.
So you look like an old, one of the golfers there, right? That's
Yeah.
neat. Were there more country or more golfer?
Oh man, there were quite a few of them that took the country club route. They had the blazers.
Really? Oh, wow, yeah.
A lot of the girls had the cute little skirts and
Really?
the polos, and it was really fun. I think this might have been, in my 10 years at PHS, one of the better years in terms of participation for Spirit Week. So
Okay.
really good.
So you really enjoyed. What was Monday? I mean, on Spirit Week. I mean, each day is something different, right?
Monday was class color day, and our color was blue, so
Okay.
I just kind of dressed up in everything I could find that was blue.
Blue. Okay. And then Tuesday.
It was tank top day.
Now, did you wear a tank top?
Yeah, but it was kind of cold that day, so I wore a sweatshirt.
Kirk, what was Wednesday?
Wednesday was mathletes versus athletes.
Okay, what was that?
So, like, some people dressed up as nerds and had suspenders and tape on their glasses.
Really?
And then others wore, like Braden and Trey Sides wore joggers and a LeBron James jersey and
Wow.
stuff like that, headbands. And
Okay, and then yesterday, was that special? Anything special yesterday?
yesterday was just Jersey Day.
Jersey Day.
So
Okay.
everybody in the school had on either a football boys jersey, or they brought
Wow.
their own jerseys from home. Like Ethan Fike had a Travis Kelsey jersey that was signed.
So, do you feel things like that really get the school together?
Well, they're,
Spirit Week and-
you know, as a teacher, you talked about how coaches don't like homecoming week. I'm not sure we got a lot done in my classroom this week.
Okay.
We had a lot of fun. It was good to see. You just feel a little extra spirit in the hallways, and everybody just kind of seems to have fun with it.
Well, and it is it's school. There's more to school and learning.
Yes,
that's
yeah,
why you go.
absolutely.
I mean,
Yep.
you learn how to do things, and I think that you have to kind of take everything together.
Yeah, it was a good timing for it too. I think, sometimes homecoming's earlier on in the year, but I think it was a good time for it. They'd been in school for 4 or 5 weeks, and they needed kind of a little kick start to finish the rest of the 9 weeks.
Back, TC, back to you about the ball game last night, and all the ball games so far, 5-0, and the question, and I have to ask it every week, and it's a dumb question as I say every week. The fact that going into the season, what were you anticipating?
I was expecting us to be a pretty good football team this year. Past couple years we've been very well, and our defense has held really strong this year. Only allowing 14, maybe 20 points or 28 points this year.
Kev was figuring this morning we've outscored our opponents 212-0 in the first half of games. Wow. That's where we're sitting right now.
That's crazy.
So, defensively we're playing very well.
Nobody scored on our varsity yet.
Is score management a little bit of a problem on the sideline? Did you try to manage the score a little bit from the standpoint of not to make it look like it's a runaway, but what do you do? That's going to be a problem, really.
Yeah, and we really don't want to run the score up on any of our opponents. I mean, that's not fun for them, and I've been in those shoes before, and it's just not fun. But at times our guys are just making plays. We're having punt returns and things like that. So you just have to keep playing football.
And you can't tell a kid not to do. If he's on a third unit and he gets in, he gets a chance to do something. He wants to show coaches what he can do out there. And if he's got a wide open thing, you just go for it.
Absolutely, we're never going to tell anybody to lay down, I guess, or not
Take a knee or something.
Not give us great effort. Nathan Moon's an example. Last night he took a bad snap straight up the middle where the play was designed to go and scored a touchdown from about 53 yards on a broken play, really. So.
Okay. Well, what are you going to do when you graduate? What else other sports you involved in?
I played basketball and golf.
Okay. You like golf? You're a golfer? You play quite a bit?
Yeah, golf is probably my favorite sport.
Really?
Yeah, I could just go out and relax and just have a good time.
And you play much in the summertime? You go out there quite a bit?
Yeah, me and my family, Jaron and I usually go out a lot, and my mom and dad come sometimes too.
Are you a good putter? Do you putt pretty good?
Yeah.
He's a good putter?
He's a good golfer.
Okay, all right. Well, what are you going to do next year? What are you going to do next year when you graduate?
I'm going to try and become a chemical engineer, but as to where I'm going, I'm not
You don't
for
know
sure.
yet where you're going. You a KU or K-State fan?
I'm a KU fan.
Okay,
Definitely.
all right. They have a big improvement down there coming up. It's $200 or $300 million have improved the football stadium, and then they improve their football team. That would help go a lot.
Well, their offense is better this
Yeah, I
year. They
think
just need to work on their defense.
It's going to take a year. They're going to close. If you go very many KU football games, you've been there.
I haven't been to any KU football games, but I did go to one basketball game.
Yeah.
Home game where they lost to Iowa State. And that was fun.
I remember that ball game. But
That was the one that broke the streak, wasn't it? Didn't we talk about that in class?
Yeah.
The one I go to and they lose.
But
Maybe you should watch from home.
That's what I'm thinking.
there's nothing like Allen Fieldhouse for a ball game.
Yeah,
though.
it's crazy.
Yeah, it sure is. Okay, well, but you don't know just where you're going to head.
No, it most likely be KU or K-State because they both have pretty good engineering programs.
Okay, good. Oh, very good. Well, hope things go well and good luck the rest of the season.
Thank you.
Okay, Kirk, let's talk a little bit about Did we have you on earlier this year?
Yeah, I was on after the first game.
Okay, we'll have to figure out some new questions to answer here. I want to ask you what you anticipated. How did you prepare for last night's homecoming game? Was it a special week for you?
Yeah, it was pretty special. We had to stay focused with all the activities that were going on throughout the week, and we really had to work on getting better because we knew that this team wasn't going to give us too much of a challenge, but we had to focus on improving so that we could have a great game against those better teams later on in the year.
Coming in at halftime again, and we talked with Joe about this. Do you go to your several areas, players? I mean, one coach like line. You talk line and backfield and that kind of thing, and at halftime to talk about things, or do you meet all together and then maybe split up? How's that work?
We usually just meet all together, and we'll go into the weight room, and it has that big board up in there, and if we need to make any adjustments, we'll draw it up on the board, and so everybody will be able to see it, and if anybody has questions, they can ask their position coach what they need to do, or the starters that were in before them what needs to be done and what their tendencies are on different downs.
You know, Coach Burge talked about moving to defensive end, but overall, what do you think is one of the most improved areas individually that you have this year as opposed to years past? One thing that you improved the most upon over the summer, or
I think I have improved some on my speed, but mostly on my balance. There would be plays that people will hit me at the ankles, and somehow I can manage to get my hand down to stay up and get some extra yards. Or even just breaking through some more tackles, keeping my knees up high.
I'd say that's accurate. For Kirk, he has worked on his speed here. You know, that comes through practice, but also he spends some time running in the mornings. Several kids have been up to the track or out at the field working on agilities and stuff like that, and that's to his credit. He's probably the leader of that group, and I know he's got several younger guys that go up there and do that with him. So he's putting in extra work, and the one thing I would say about him is he's become even a better leader, which I think is great for our team. He mentioned at halftime, where you guys were talking, these older guys are coaching our younger guys when we walk in the locker room. A lot of times us coaches will meet a little bit before we go in, and they're in there telling them, especially these last couple of weeks where they know they're pretty much done playing, they're in there telling them, okay, here's what's going to happen on this play. They're going to run this trap. They're coaching our guys, which is a great thing to have happen.
Mm-hmm.
And that's, of course, where the leadership comes in and conveying what they've learned and everything through the years to some of the younger players.
Absolutely. They've taken a lot of the reps in practice, obviously, and know what's coming at them, and they've watched probably a little bit more film than those younger guys, which is fine. But then they're conveying that message, you know, to those younger guys on what has happened to him in the first half and what they need to look for. So that's really great with what our seniors are doing.
yeah.
Okay, well, and then we talked to you about on the first time you're on the show here about what you anticipated on, and are things going along as how you thought things might be going this time of the year? But you're over halfway through the regular season already. You realize you've got 5 games, and there's 9 games, so you're more than halfway home regular now. And then, of course, we get postseason play.
Well, something that I didn't anticipate was how fast the season would go.
Yeah.
It seems like we had just started in on our practices, but we're already 5 weeks through the regular season. But we're doing pretty well so far. I was hoping that we'd have another good team this year, and we've shown some of our good ability, but I think we still have better to show.
Yeah. You know, there's been a little hype this year on Phillipsburg football. There's quite an article here. Did you read that in the Hayes Daily?
Yeah, I read that the other day.
A lot of that out there. How's that keeping the kids on their feet on the ground and all this stuff, Joe?
Oh, I think they're pretty grounded. They're pretty focused. Tad, actually, they have a common goal in mind at the end of the season, and they'll talk about they want to get as deep in the playoffs as they can and all that. And I think that's filtered down from the seniors all the way through. They want to be playing clear to the end of November.
And of course, the article says consistency. Is that the secret to success?
Well, I think when you've got guys like these guys over here that have started and played a lot of football games, that's a benefit for us as coaches. Kind of like I mentioned in the locker room and things like that. They get they understand what's going on. They get it, and a lot of them have played those positions, so it doesn't take a lot of adjustment from them. We've adjusted them before and things like that, and they remember how we've adjusted to certain defenses, so it makes it easy as a coach, really.
I think, like Joe said, there's an attitude. It's not a cockiness. It's they're confident and they understand what it takes because they've been there before. And I think there's too many of these older guys, and they're not gonna let anything get in their way, and they're the focus, and it's really great to see. And I hope they continue to improve, so then they're ready to come down the road for these tougher games.
Okay. Well, I just see outside it's raining, so like the tennis thing might have a little trouble getting things going. You have to get a roof on that.
I think we just saw a tennis team walk in, actually.
What's that?
I think we just saw a tennis team walk in.
Okay. All right. So they're going to enjoy some
Against
what's going on.
breakfast.
Okay. Yeah. It's raining pretty good right now. Well, and I talked to you the other time about what do you plan on doing the rest of the year after football and then next year? Sure.
I'm not sure about wrestling yet. It's still up in the air for me. I don't know if I'll wrestle or not this year.
Okay.
I plan on doing track, and then after that, I don't know really. Go to college and major in biology with an interest in medicine.
Really? That's great. Well, I see these other tennis teams coming in are also, I think.
A little bit, not too much.
Have they started? That was quite the Landsat. Are you hearing from schools about playing football for them much?
Yeah, I have some scholarships from some NAIA schools, but nothing really from any D1 schools or.
Alabama hasn't contacted you yet, or anything like that.
A little bit of interest from a few D2 schools.
Sure. Okay. Well, 4 days, of course, and I don't know what they have, but I just wish that 4 days maybe go more a lot of the Kansas, because we have a lot of good players here in Kansas, and a lot of them I think just don't get the opportunity there. Well, so you feel pretty happy after homecoming and got that out of the way now, and you're looking for the rest of the season, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, I'm just looking forward for the next week that we get to play again. I'm ready to get back on the field already.
Did you find that when you were before the first game? Did you have that feeling? I can't wait to get out there on a Friday night under the lights. Did you have that? Was there a lot of anticipation in there?
Yeah, I think a lot of us were ready to get back on the field and finally hit another opposing team instead of just pounding on our JV all day at practice. I was ready to go and hit someone else, and I think it really showed that first game. We came out with a lot of energy and enthusiasm, and we played really hard.
Has the weather been good this year for practices?
Yeah, for the most part. I mean,
You had a couple of warm days.
Last week it kind of warmed back up on us. We've had some fairly warm games, but it hasn't been bad. Like our conditioning week and our week of camp was actually really nice, and it warmed back up at the start of the season. So it's really been a good year so far, and it's cooled down now. And time to keep after it.
JC and Kirk, you said you probably both feel the season's gone really fast. What's the one highlight, either in practice or in a game, funny or just memorable, so far this season that you've experienced?
I'd have to say that mine would be finally shutting out Smith Center on their home stadium. That was a good accomplishment for us, and something that you haven't seen done for quite a while.
And of course, they changed the whole game plan on you too, didn't they? That's what's the amazing thing is, people still talking about that. I know Corey came on and we just threw the after the first play we just threw our playbook away. Is that pretty much what happened?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Jacobs adjusted quick, and that's the benefit of having those guys that played a little bit. They can adjust, and went from stopping the run to concentrating on the pass.
What about you, JC? Anything you look back on the season and things stand out?
Well, so far I think with our Burr said that we've outscored our opponents in the first half, 12 to 0 or whatever it is. But I don't think an opponent has scored with our varsity starters in. I don't think an opponent has scored yet. So I think that's really, really good accomplishment.
And is that important? Is it kind of of course, the winning usually thing, you win, you score more than the other team. But defense, is that one of your really strong suits? Obviously it is, but they aren't scoring on you.
It is, and these guys have a goal almost every week. We put up weekly goals, and they always want to have a shutout. I mean, that's their goal, and it is important. I don't get as upset maybe at the end when they're scoring late in the game or something like that, but these guys, it is important to them to keep people out of the end zone.
Anything else for anyone?
One more question from the audience.
Oh, audience, okay.
On JC, your brother played golf in college, right?
Yeah, I played
Do
at
you have
Barton.
any interest in doing that?
Yeah, if the opportunity presents itself, I would consider playing golf somewhere. Yeah,
Okay.
I do enjoy it, and he
Do
said
they-
he had a pretty fun time.
Do they recruit much, though, for golf? I mean, has anyone contacted you so far or anything?
I don't think there's been anyone, looking around for. me
Okay,
for
I didn't
golf.
know if they do it like football and basketball and that type of track, or volleyball.
Yeah, it might come more towards golf season though.
Okay.
It's hard to get looks with it.
All right, very good. Well, good luck
Thank
the
you.
rest of the season and whatever you do the rest of the year, and then after you graduate, then what you okay, fine. Thanks, thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Yeah, thank you, Joe. You're ready to
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
you ready to go get a donut?
Sure am, I guess. I better bring some donuts back for the guys up at the
Okay.
film room, and we'll go from there, I guess.
All right, fine. Thank you.
Thank
Nice
you,
seeing
guys.
you. Thank you, Joe.
Thank you.
Appreciate that. Thank you. Got to shake your hand there. Thank
you, sir.
Yeah. Okay. All right, we're going to talk about Logan Palco football here in just a moment. A reminder that other sponsors of the program here on a Saturday morning include all your friends at the Farmers State Bank in Phillipsburg, where interest begins the moment you enter the door. Interest in your member FDIC. Mapes and Miller, it's not what you make, but what you keep. Mid-America Real Estate, providing the best homes in the area for over 40 years, and Blossoms and Butterflies, making beautiful flowers a part of your life. As we just talked with Phillipsburg, with some Phillipsburg football, we're going to be talking now about Logan Palco football, and then our coach Mike Jenner. We'll get Mike in there. And we'll have, I think, we have 3 players there. Mike, thanks for coming over.
Thanks for having us.
Did it rain much coming over here?
No, just on and off.
Okay. And I always appreciate coaches coming on Saturday morning after a loss on a Friday night. How did you feel in that ball game? You knew Victoria's going to be tough.
Oh yeah, we knew going in they were physical, going to be physical, and they came out ready to play. They jumped on us early, put us down 24-0, and then we climbed back and just kind of ran out of gas at the end. A couple injuries.
Wow. The injuries severe? I mean, it was just.
No, luckily I think we've got. Need to be a little closer. Luckily, just a high ankle sprain. We thought it might be a broken leg. And then
Wow.
A couple little
Yeah.
pulls and stuff.
Okay, so how did you were coming in that game undefeated? How do you prepare for the Victoria Ball Club?
Just our normal preparation. We knew they were going to mainly run the ball. It surprised me a little bit that they threw the ball as much as they did. We had a couple missed assignments, which led to a couple touchdowns. But like I said, we came back. I was real proud of the effort. We just need to clean up the mistakes we made.
Prior to last night, had you been pretty injury-free for the most part, or has that been kind of a bug?
Yeah, funny you should ask that. We were just talking on the bus ride. Last night was the first real injuries we've had in about 2 years.
Wow. Yeah.
And it hit us at the wrong time, and that's football.
You know it's going to happen. Yeah, right.
Eventually it catches up with
Right.
you, and it did last night with us.
And I have to ask this question about Logan Palco. Does this create a little bit of a problem in your practices? How do you get together, two different schools together, and do your practices? How does that work?
The majority of our practices are at Logan, but then game weeks, when we're playing a game at Palco, we travel down there and practice down there for a week. So this week, we're playing Osborne at Palco, so all week we'll be down there practicing.
Okay, and how many do you have out, Coach?
We've got 18 from Logan and 5 Palco.
Okay, so is that a good number for 8 men?
That's one of the better numbers I've had since I've been coaching 8-man.
Okay, and how long have you been there, Logan, Coach?
Well, this is my fourth year, guys.
Yes,
Yeah.
fourth year.
Fourth year at Logan, and before that I was 16 years at Western Plains.
Wow.
Larned and TMP. And
Wow. You mentioned Western Plains. There's 6-man now. Is that a coming thing? When you were there, was it 8-man?
yeah, when I was there, it was 8-man. We started out, and it was a co-op down there at Healy, Western Plains.
Yeah.
At the beginning, it worked out well. We had good numbers both ways, and then numbers started dropping off. And it got to the point where boys just didn't want to play anymore.
Sure.
They'd rather play video games or whatever.
Do you have quite a few seniors? What's your class breakdown?
Let's see, we've got six seniors. Junior class is a little light. We've got about 7 or 8 sophomores, and we've got 5 or 6 freshmen. And then we'll have a good junior high class, about 5 or 6 8th graders coming up next year.
Okay. Looking back, coming into the season, you had pretty high hopes of what the coach are going to do.
These guys, they work hard. We're at a little bit of a disadvantage because of the practices going back and forth. But we've overcome that. We've been 7-2 the last 2 years, not made the playoffs. Unfortunate to be put in a district that's always loaded like this year. I mean, going into last night, 5 of the 6 schools were ranked in the top 10 in the state.
Yeah, so who do you have this week?
We get the lucky
Osborne. Osborne. Yeah.
And one of their running backs ran for 469 yards last night.
Yeah, that was quite the stat.
Yeah.
49 carries or something like that.
I
That's a
thought
load.
I overused my tailback. And I saw that.
Wow. Seriously. And so obviously you'll have to be looking at this week in film and everything. And how do you is it just that they just go to him a lot, or is it he's successful, they just keep, is that kind of thing, if you're successful, keep doing what you do? Is that kind of what was going on last night, maybe?
It really is. I mean, with 8-man football especially, I found out that you can't you can try to change things, but if you change too much, it hurts your team. You've got to be true to what you do. Last night, we kind of got out of our element. We had to start throwing the ball more than we used to. Sometimes it worked out, sometimes not so much. We're basically a run-heavy team, and when we're successful, that's what we do.
Okay, so you got preparing obviously who you're going to be keying on, but you know that things like that happen. Maybe all of a sudden they say, well, they're going to be practicing this, and we might try something different. So you never know.
Yeah,
what you're going to see.
And that's what happened to us last night. Victoria, for the most part, is a run-heavy team, but they did come out, throw the ball a little more than what we thought they would. We adjusted to it, but it was a little bit too late.
Okay, so you mentioned Osborne. Two teams come out of your district, like in all the other states. So who else is in there? See Victoria in there?
Yeah.
And Hoxie? I mean, not Hoxie. Osborne is Hoxie in your?
No, us, Victoria, Solomon, Bennington, and Lincoln.
So you have a little traveling to do, don't you?
Yeah. Well, and when they set up this district last year, Josh Van Lays made the All-Star team for the East. I mean, they consider Logan in the East
there. All right.
They put us in an Eastern district.
Wow.
It's kind of different talking about watching the quarterback play for the Eastern Kansas All-Star team.
Do you see 6-man expanding even more? Or do you have any experience at all with 6-man?
I've never coached it. I mean, it's football, but it's not it's basically who has the fastest guy. I mean, 8-man's a little bit that way, but you've got a little more. You have to
more line in there
Right.
to do. Yeah.
When you get to 6-man, if you've got somebody that's got speed, you can pretty much do whatever you want to.
So what would you say? Obviously we know we have you have a running attack that you have to stop next week. But what's maybe the one area you weren't most pleased with last night that you'd really like to improve upon?
Offensive line.
Yeah.
We have to clean up our play there. Our tail, but they had defenders on us all night before we could even touch the ball or get it to our tailback. And I told the guys that last night. They know it. We just got to go back to the basics this week and get things corrected.
Okay, so you'll be doing your practicing. So what, you load up in the bus, and so that's travel time, what, 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes?
Well, actually, if we can go the back ways, if it's not too wet, it's about 35, 40 minutes.
Really? Okay. I used to go that. I did a lot of Cheyenne Conference games, tournament games. I'd always come the back way, going through Logan and this way. That's still not. Some of it's not paved. Some of it's still.
Oh no, it's not a bad shape.
Right.
When
Yeah.
it gets wet, it gets kind of.
I know. Always look for you always know you're almost there, and you see those silos there on Highway 24, right? So you're going to get some hard stuff. That's amazing. I'd like to have a dollar for every time I've been on that road at midnight, coming back from there. So coming in the season, again, mentioning this a little bit, what did you think your strengths were going to be against some of the other teams you knew you were going to be?
Our strengths are definitely our backfield, quarterback, running backs. We got David Thompson from Palico, who's had phenomenal success the last 2 years. This year, he hasn't touched the ball as much because we've only played half games up until last night. This time last year, he was probably double his rushing yards because we were going full games. Coach Oberly, I know we were the next Tech game of the week last night. He paid him a great compliment. Basically called David the best 8-man tailback he's seen in the state this year. But he is by far I would say our biggest strength. Our defense has come around this year. We were a little weak there last year, but we picked it up there.
So you think that after last night's game, you play a good team, you can kind of find where you might have to work on, which has got to be an advantage.
Right.
Okay. Do you like the clock? They have it now an 11-man now, the continuous clock, and of course an 8-man that the score is such at halftime. Do you feel that you'd like to be able to get some of maybe the second unit playing more, or?
It'd be nice. We try to set up JV games. We actually had 3 scheduled there this year, but 2 teams canceled on us because of lack of numbers.
Wow.
And so, yeah, if at all possible, I try to get them in. I mean, when we have blowouts, try to get them in at least for 3 or 4 minutes to get some experience.
Now, I'm sure it goes pretty fast. Even just managing a half.
Yeah, it really does, because all of a sudden you look up, you're up by so much, and you've only got 4 minutes left, so you scramble to get them in the game.
And we've had several forfeits this year because of lack of players. I can't imagine a team with only 10 boys out. How can you even practice? And they need, 8 and 8, to go at each other. I don't know. Do the coaches get involved in that sometime?
Back when I was a little younger, yeah, I would. These days, I don't even dare do it. My wife tells me, "Don't you do it?" I'll come home broken. But yeah, I've been in that situation where you only have 10 guys and you just have to go half line or do whatever you can do.
That's really be tough,
Yeah, and there's some teams that, Dighton, for example, only has 10 guys out, and they're winning. I think they're 5-0 right now.
Right. And Natoma, I think they had a fort, didn't they?
Yeah, they're playing 6-man.
Oh, that's right. They're 6-men. Yeah, they're 6-men. So that's going to really be tough. And then they talk about more consolidation or getting it. This co-op worked pretty good. Obviously, it does pretty good for Logan and Palico.
Yeah, since I've been there, it started, I think, 2 years before I got to Logan, and it's been real good. The guys get along real well with each other. In fact, it's kind of funny because when they play basketball, we're separate, and you can tell they're playing each other, and they're friends out there, so they want to win, but they don't want to do something to offend the other guys. It's good.
That was what I was going to ask the boys that too. But you're on the same side in football, and then all of a sudden when that tip off comes in basketball, hey, I've got to guard him. That has to be kind of a two-edged sword there. I think
it really is. And it was funny last year. I mean, this year I'll be the head basketball coach. Last year I could sit there and watch the game in the stands, and you could watch them out there. They're laughing with each other, and joking during the games and stuff. So it's kind of fun.
Okay. All right, who's your first gentleman here?
I've got Colton Grieving Sr. and Lane Stapleton.
Okay, cool. This Grieving name has been popular at Logan since I can remember. There were Grievings when I came up here in the 60s, basketball at the Grieving. So there's a lot of generation there. Colton, what is your part of football? What do you play, offense and defense?
I'm a tight end on offense and a safety on defense.
Okay. What do you like best?
I like defense better. Safety, coming up and hitting people, and pass coverage. Pass coverage probably isn't my best strength, but this year I'm starting to actually hit someone on safety. But
So, do you like that?
yeah,
It's funny you laughed because 9 times out of 10 they like the defense. They
yeah.
like the defense.
Yeah.
They let you use your hands more and all that kind of thing. What you can do. Yeah. So, say what do you feel your best game has been so far this year? With the team as a whole and maybe individually.
I think our best game this year was against Northern Valley. We put up, I think it was 70 points on them. I had a pretty good game myself. I had 2 interceptions, about 5 or 6 tackles. But I thought as a whole we played pretty good as a team. So that's definitely our best game.
As a safety, did you receive the punts?
No, we actually put David Thompson back there on linebackers.
Alrighty.
He's got a little bit more speed than I do. So
It's pretty successful that way?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Who do you like to play? Northern Valley, obviously, because that goes back years, and that's a good rivalry there. But who else do you like to play?
Personally, for me, and I think my teammates, we like to play Osborne. Osborne's always a fun game. I mean, last year we put up, what was the final score? 84-44, I think it was.
Wow.
One of the highest scores of Friday night football that night, but we came on the losing end, unfortunately. But Osborne, pretty good, hard-hitting game. Victoria was a hard-hitting game last night.
Yeah.
Really came out, popped us in the mouth. But, yeah, those two teams are probably best
How
quality
many
teams.
Victoria have out? How many boys did they have out?
27.
Okay, so I know one time they were 11 in the Mid-Continental League, and then they went to the 8, and they still had 30 boys out, 35 boys out. So what's the determination on? Do you have to have? Is it enrollment, or how many you have out? What makes you an 8-man, 1 or 2, Division 1 or 2?
Well, to play 8-man, you have to have less than 100. If you have 100 or more, you have to play 11-man.
Okay.
And then they try to split the 2 divisions as equal as possible. In fact, this year we're playing Division 1. Next year we'll actually be the biggest school in Division 2.
That's just come out this week. Is that
Right.
But does it make much difference? Is the competition pretty much the same in 1 and 2?
It makes a pretty big difference. Most of the Division 1 schools, well, in fact, you've got, and now this is my opinion, people are going to say no, but there's probably 10 to 12 Division 1 schools that should still be playing 11-man with 99, 95 kids, but they've dropped down because they can't compete with, for example, Phillipsburg, Smith Centers, so they dropped down. And one of them's in our district. Bennington's got 99 kids.
They're kind of a bedroom community for Salina, I think, aren't they?
Yeah, we just played them just a few years ago. Yep.
3 years ago, they were in your district,
Yeah.
and then that's the year they dropped down. And I mean, I understand why, but we're sitting here with 2 schools combined, struggling to try to get enough to play. And then you've got schools like that say, "Well, we can't compete." Well, you've got the boys. You just have to get them out.
Yeah. And that's the whole thing. I know one time Bennington, they were at 8-man. Then they went up to larger because I remember I did some playoff games. Northern Valley played Bennington at one time in 8-man, and I did some games down there. And Then they're all of a sudden they're up to 11. Now they're back down there. So of course that's every 2 year deal. They'll be looking at that. So Colton, what do you plan on doing after football season?
After football season, I'll just continue playing sports, basketball. I don't think I'm going to do track this year. I'm going to focus. I am doing track. Okay, I guess I am doing track this year.
You have heard it here. We have a scoop.
So I guess I am doing track this year.
Oh, what are you doing track?
High
How do you
jump.
know yet?
Yeah, last year I did track and I did high jump. Was on a relay team and
Okay.
ran the 800 a couple of times. But
Are you track coach by any chance?
No,
Oh,
I'm not.
okay, all right. No, he's got to go. Okay, all right. That's good, coach. I appreciate that. Then what are you going to do when you graduate, Colton?
when I graduate, I have no idea yet. I'm still up in the air on that.
Do you know what you want to be, though?
Not really.
Okay. Well, as you look at the season, though, at 4-1, and you go, that's still going well against a good ball club last night. What was the ride like home on the bus?
The ride home. Well, we actually we meet Palco. And, we met them at Plainville last night, and then we take their nice activity bus
Okay.
to the game. So the ride back from to Plainville from Victoria was pretty nice.
Yeah.
Kind of quiet.
Yeah,
No one
I bet,
really wanted.
yeah.
Everybody was tired,
Sure.
sore, and then we hop on our bus and head back to
Yeah.
Logan. It's about
Did
the same.
You relive the game quite a bit,
Yeah.
talk about different things.
Kind of close your eyes and think about what you could have done better and what went right and all that.
That's good. Okay, who's the other you have here?
Lane Staples.
Lane? Okay. What's he play for you? Or Lane, or you can tell what.
I play tight end and defensive end.
Okay. Defense better than offense?
Yeah,
Okay.
I like defense a lot better.
Have you ever played 11-man at all? Have you ever been around 11-man football at all?
Back when I was in Holyoke, we had little man football, and we played 11-man there.
Okay.
But any other school I've been to since I've moved has been 8-man.
Okay, so is there much difference? Obviously, three-man difference there.
Yeah.
But what's the big difference you saw in maybe 11-man and 8-man?
8-man games, I think, are a lot more physical than 11-man games normally, because it's just more ground and pound all the time, just going right head-to-head with the other team.
What did you get ready to do for last night's ball game? You knew it was going to be a tough one, obviously.
Yeah.
So,
We knew they were going to come out and hit us in the mouth, and we knew that we had to play, but they caught us sleeping at the beginning of the game, and they took advantage of it, and we just didn't have enough to bring it back.
I was going to ask this to you, Colton and Lane, both, with last night being kind of your first full game. Did you feel like you were, prepared for that fourth quarter? I'm sure that's a huge difference being the first full game, and I'm sure, like you said, you were probably a little bit more sore this morning and a little bit more tired.
Well, Coach kept us pretty well conditioned because he knew that we needed to be able to go till the fourth quarter or even longer if we had to. So they've kept conditioning pretty hard on us just to make sure that we were ready for it.
I know you probably like it at halftime in your favor, but did you enjoy a full ball game?
Yeah.
I mean, really enjoyed out there having a chance to play it a lot more.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
I'm sure that will be helpful in terms of this week as well,
Yes,
having that full
especially
game
now
under
that
your
we've
belt.
got that.
Sure.
Okay, so you get ready now for Osborne, and your practice this week you'll be in Palco. And is the football field in Palco still north of town like it was out there?
Yeah.
It's way out of town.
Down in the
Down
hole.
in
Yeah, right. Because
Trees.
when we did football games, when they were in the Mid-Continent League, I'd go over there, and they didn't have phone lines out there, and they had to run his phone line out there to us so we could do the ball game on the radio, And
Yeah, it's down, surrounded by trees and mosquitoes.
okay. So what are the practices like there?
It's a little different. We've got to haul a lot of our equipment over, so they're a little shorter than normal because we don't want the kids getting back so late at night that they can't get homework and stuff like that done. But yeah, it's worked out. It's not the most ideal thing, but you just deal with it and do the best you can.
Okay. What other sports are you involved in?
I play basketball and track too.
Okay. And what are you going to do next year? Graduate.
I haven't quite decided yet.
Now, you live in Holyoke, Colorado. Is that where you came?
I used to live there.
Okay,
Yeah.
Holyoke, Colorado. Okay, all right. So what do you have down the line, what you want to do?
I think I want to go for ag business, but I have no idea where
Nowhere.
I'm going to go to college or anything. So
Are you moved here to Kansas, so you still like Colorado teams? Or are you a Colorado Rockies fan?
no, I'm actually most of the teams I like are down in Texas.
Really?
Dallas Cowboys, Texas Longhorns.
Okay.
How did that come about?
I really don't know. Dad has always been a Dallas fan. In Texas, I just picked that up by myself. So.
Being a DN, do you have any exciting sacks or tackles for loss on the year?
Yeah, I had a sack every game until the last 2 games. I have not had a sack.
Do you really like to get in there and get the quarterback? Yeah. Okay. Defensive end, who usually tries to keep you away from the quarterback? I mean,
Usually it's the end unless he goes out for a pass route, and then that guard drops back to try to get me. Or their halfback, which usually stays back to block.
Okay.
Will pick up.
you get the chance there. Do you ever, all of a sudden, there's no one there, and between you and the quarterback, you say, "All right, I got him." Does that give you a
Yeah,
little
and then
rush
the
there?
halfback that sits back there on the other side jumps over right in front of you and
Yeah.
kind of surprises you.
So, how do your practices go? Do you spend a lot of time on defense, offense, or
We try to work both every practice pretty well.
what's the rule now? I wasn't aware of this. J.B. Covey was talking about last week that you're only allowed so much contact time now in a week, or is that a new rule?
They put it in was it last year or 2 years ago where they're trying to cut down on injuries, concussions, things like that. So you can go. You're basically limited to 50 minutes a week of full contact.
And that includes even the game?
No.
Okay,
that's
just practice.
during
Okay,
practice.
all right.
Now, when they say, and when you think about it, when you first hear 50 minutes a week, that doesn't sound like a lot, but the rest of the days, you still can do what they call thud. You go waist up, and you're still hitting, but you're not going full time.
You're just really going out there with helmets and all that on.
Yeah.
And pads, okay. All right, so do you like that new rule? Do you think it has helped any?
Yes and no. I mean, there's times you just want to get after it every practice.
Sure.
But I understand the rule. It has. I think that's been a big part of our lack of injuries. I mean, we've had a pretty good weight program to get them ready. But yeah, if you're not beating each other up every practice, it helps.
Lane and Colton, you guys have a specific player at either the collegiate level or professional level that you follow, or just teams? Favorite
We
team
really
or
just follow
player?
teams normally. Otherwise, we watch almost all the football.
Yeah.
We watch every NFL team, and whatnot.
Okay. Do you feel that the rest of the season it's going to be tough? Now we have that one, but so how many teams are in your division?
We have
Besides you, is it 5, 6?
District 6. There's 6 including
6.
us.
Okay, so you have 5. And where do you stand now?
Right now we're on the bottom because that was our first district.
Okay,
game.
so you're 0-1 now then. Okay, all right. So all the rest of your games will be district then, right?
Yep. And
Okay.
basically, we either need to win out or have a lot of help. And I guess the nice thing about a real tough district like this, any given week, people can
Sure.
flip on you. So you just got to be ready each week.
Do they go points allowed for
Yeah, and that
tiebreaker?
that came into effect last night. Coach Oberly, I mean, he had a pretty good lead. They were going to probably win the game, and they went ahead and threw a pass to score a late touchdown. But it was to get the point differential. And he apologized after the game. And I told him, I said, I understand completely because we tried to, I mean, we knew we were going to lose, but our last drive, we were doing everything we could to get it in the end zone to get that point back.
That thing
So,
back, yeah.
it's a bad rule.
I know it, and I've heard a lot about that. It makes a team really go out and try to, if they're doing a good job of leading, to run the score up, to get it there. I know. And
Yeah, because most coaches they don't want to do it, but you have to.
Yeah,
do
you
it
got to get that
because
points
They
in.
have
Especially
to.
in a tight district like
Yeah.
we have.
Because that's last year we had a 3-way tie in
Yeah.
our district, and it came down to 1 point. Solomon beat us and Victoria out to go. So.
Wow, so that's
Any more questions for him?
no, get him, no. Thanks, boys. Good luck the rest of the season there. All right.
Ran a pretty boy quarterback.
Here's our,
Okay.
our sunshine is what we like to call him.
He's tall for a quarterback, too. Yeah,
But
okay.
he's even shorter than our quarterback last year.
Really?
He's a couple inches shorter
Okay,
than Josh.
okay. Who is that?
This is Riley Allen.
Riley. Hi, Riley. Did you feel that your height, did it help you or hinder you being you can look over the line, and see if you're going to throw the pass, but you're kind of a bigger target up there too,
Yeah, I think it's more of an advantage. It helps me see everything.
Okay.
It's pretty nice.
Look at the ball game last night. We've talked to the other boys, about that. Going in, they threw a few surprises at you, right?
Yes, for sure.
How did you feel going into the ball game?
I felt like we could handle them, and our team was just as good as they were, and I trusted my guys and that we could do it.
Yeah.
We just didn't. The ending result wasn't what we wanted.
Okay. Did you throw any more last night? Did you have to change your game plan a little bit?
I think we threw about like 5 passes coming into the game, and last night I'd say about 20 passes. There was a lot of throwing. It was definitely a different game for us.
What position do you play defensively?
I'm safety, but last night I had to play linebacker because one of our players tore his pec, so he was pretty limited playing time.
So, as linebacker, do you like that?
I prefer safety.
Really?
But I'll do whatever helps the team.
Sure. All right. How tall are you?
I'm like 6'2".
All right. And your quarterback last year was taller.
He was 6'4" last year.
Wow. Do you feel the height helps?
I do. I mean, they can see over the line a little bit.
Yeah.
It helps because Riley is really fast, so I mean, he can see things that other shorter quarterbacks can't.
Sure. You have the option, or you're going to throw it, or I don't think maybe I could run. When do you make that decision? Or if you see all your guys are covered, or you're laughing about that, so's the coach.
Well, Coach and I talk about this. Sometimes I get tunnel vision looking down the field too long. He'd rather me scramble whenever there's a hole. But if my guys aren't covered, then I usually decide to run most of the time.
Okay.
Yeah, Riley kind of holds on to the ball a little bit too long sometimes because I keep telling him he's fast. He needs to. If it's not there right away, tuck it and get what you can get.
Yeah.
We're working on it. We're getting there.
Okay. So there's a particular point. I'm going to tuck this football and run it, right?
There's definitely a particular point where that comes in line.
And do you usually go around that, or you try it, or maybe where the hole is? You up the middle, or
just run where no one else is. That's where I go.
That makes sense. That's a good philosophy to have on that. But you're quick. You say you feel.
Yeah, I'm pretty fast. I'd say I run track, 100-meter dash, 200-meter dash guy.
All right.
Are you a senior?
Yes, ma'am.
What do you plan to do after school?
Go to college somewhere, and I think try to get a business degree. Yeah, from there, just see what happens.
Sounds like these boys have some decisions to make here.
Sure do.
I still don't know what my major was in school. It's interesting how you get ready for a ball game. Anything special you do for a game? Are you superstitious or anything, or do you wear the same shirt the game day or anything like that?
Yes, definitely wear the same shirt. I like to wear the same clothes. I kind of do have that superstition. I'm a superstitious guy, but any pregame rituals or anything? No, nothing really. Just kind of mentally prepare for the game.
You get butterflies?
Yes, I get very nervous.
Okay, but then after the first plays,
I usually feel.
It's amazing how that works
Yeah.
in a coach. He's really committed, and they say that's good. If you ever come to a time when you don't have butterflies, you probably not should do it anymore, because you should always have that anticipation and want to do well.
Yeah, fear is a good thing sometimes. I mean, you got to be a little bit afraid, because that will give you the edge you need to play.
On the last night, you have any good tackles?
Yeah, I thought some of my best tackles came on kickoff. I like kickoff because you get to run full speed. And just,
and you find them, you pop them, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Anything else?
Just good luck in the weeks to come.
Thank you very much.
Hopefully you get healthy.
Yes.
Yeah,
yes.
That's the thing.
Two questions we had from the audience. One is for Coach. What's more important, strength, bigness, size, or speed when it comes to 8-man over? What's the most critical asset?
That's a good question because I've had probably the best offensive lineman I've ever had was 145 pounds soaking wet, but he was quick and mean. But size has its advantages too. But overall I would say quickness. Yes. I mean, it's nice to be big, but if you can't move, it doesn't do you much good.
And the second question is, for the quarterback here, do you have a pocket? Is there a pocket in 8-man? You got a pocket in 11-man. Do you have a pocket in 8-man?
Well, if you split out 4 receivers, you have 3 linemen, so there's not really much of a pocket. It's kind of pick a side and scramble. Yeah, it's a lot of running around. But if you just split out 2 guys, then you have 5 guys blocking, so then there's a pocket. It's just like 11-man. But last night we ran a lot of 3 linemen, 4 wide receivers out, so it was a lot of just running around throwing the ball.
And getting back to that first question there concerning speed, is speed more important in 8-man than 11, or does that have much?
Well, speed's one of those things. Both it's important, but
Sure.
yeah, in 8-man, like I said, you can be the biggest guy out there. Well, in fact, Victoria had a kid that was probably 280,
Yeah,
290.
280.
Good kid, strong kid, but he couldn't move side to side real well.
I know.
I'd rather have a kid that's 160,
Yeah.
170 pounds that's strong, but he's quick.
And in 11-man, you have, if you can't move very well, you have guys on both sides of you there
Right.
that kind of take care of that too.
Yeah.
You know, so that well, anything else you have for? We appreciate you coming up here. And,
Thank you.
guys having us.
yeah, you know, and it's tough. I think the toughest. This goes back a ways when Norton and Smith Center were always going at each other. The coach at Norton, he had a tough loss to Smith Center, and he came over the next morning. And I really appreciated that because it had to be tough to come over after a game you lose right at the end and be on it. And I always appreciate the fact you coaches do that. You know.
Well, actually, I was planning on being here all along, win or lose, but I almost missed it because I overslept. When I got back last night, I was watching film so late.
Sure,
and I
yeah.
got to bed, and I thought, I'll just sleep an hour or 2 and then get
Wow.
up. And
Yeah.
looked at the clock, and said, oh, I got to be there.
Okay, well, thanks again for coming.
Yeah,
Appreciate
thanks for
it.
having us.
Thank you, all of you for coming over. Really appreciate that. All right, good job. I just love talking to the coaches and kids, you know, and I've been doing it for so long. Okay, we're gonna get Linda up here. Is she gonna come here? We could talk to her about the. What do you know about the wars?
Well, I there's a lot of talk at school. I know the volleyball girls were doing a little smack talk the other morning, talking about how they thought that they had perfected their donut, and they were kind of doing a little campaigning, so to speak, telling everybody to go in and buy their donuts and put their money in their jar. So I think the kids are really excited about it. I haven't heard too much from the football boys. Maybe they're just keeping theirs a secret. I don't know.
I heard someone's going to put chocolate and peanut butter on it or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure the combinations are endless.
We might remind you also the Madison Motors in Phillipsburg in business for over 70 years. Another one of the sponsors making it possible for us to do this every Saturday morning. Rogers Associates, your local trusted choice agency. Also Phillips County Health Systems and Olive Bovey Memorial Chapel. They make it so we can get in there and talk with these coaches and so on. And Linda's with us this morning. Good morning, Linda.
Good morning, Ted.
Okay, let's talk about the donut wars.
Oh,
How's that coming?
it's finally coming together. We've got all of our donuts. The teams have chosen all their donuts this week. And I've had a lot of fun working with these kids. They are just amazing kids. You know, through all of them trying them. Most of them have wanted to take donuts home for their parents to try, which I find kind of shocking. They don't want to take them for their friends. They want to take them home so their parents can eat them.
That's good.
And, you know, thanked me. They've just been a great, great group of kids.
Okay, so what do they do? They come in and they tell you, or they help do it, or
They gave
and
me
we're-
an idea,
Okay.
and then I made it, and then they got to try them and tell me if they wanted more of something, less of something. And they also, I did them a couple different ways, and they got to choose which ones they are having. And we're going to have some really good donuts. Really good.
And I might mention the Donut Wars is with all the teams. It's a competition, and the donuts are the most popular, and they're voted for the ones that helps money going back into the program, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
We will have jars set out for them to vote on their favorite donut or their favorite team. We're also going to have another one just for your favorite donut that you've tried. And I'm not going to be able to make them all every day, except for Saturdays. We will try to have all of them. There will be 7 different kinds, and I will try to do 1 or 2 every day. So, if you try one, and then we'll also try to do, if somebody wants to special order, like a dozen, we will.
Okay.
And we don't have all the details worked out yet, but we will probably run into kinks here and there. But at the end, we hope just to make some money for the kids to put back into their sport, to use for whatever that they need. And we think it's going to be kind of fun too. And just the trial, just trying them out has been a lot of fun for me. A lot of work too, but
Did you try each one out and how they
I have tried. Well, when I was making the donuts, I was trying the donuts just to see if I got the right flavor. Because there's going to be a peanut butter cake donut, there's going to be a chocolate cake donut, but I don't think I've tried all of the completed projects. But it's fun when I've taken them to them or they've come here and tried them. They all get so excited.
Yeah, there's been a buzz in the
funny.
in the classroom and in the halls. I know just really this week, and like I was telling Tad, the volleyball girls were saying that how they finally thought they had theirs perfected, and they were almost campaigning to some extent through the hallways. And so I think what you're doing is really good, and they
we
appreciate
told them
it. So.
after the donut is made, then really all you have to do is sit back and tell people to try it. Because there's also going to be a banana donut. But they have kind of shocked me in what they've chose, because when they try it, it might not look like the donut with all the candy on it. There's one of those too. But they'll try the donut and go, oh, that is so good. And so they choose something that I didn't really think they were going to choose. I thought they would choose the like really pretty foo-foo donut, and no, we want this one. This is our donut. So it really has been a great experience for me, just to kind of get to know a few of the kids,
So, and then they vote on it. They'll just put the money in the jar, right?
Yeah, as you come in, we'll have them out here. I'll try to have them right there where you can just drop it in on your way out if you want to, if you don't have to give money, you can just try the donuts too. I would strongly suggest people try these donuts because they're really, really good.
And like you say, Saturday you try them all, but during the week you couldn't do that every day.
No, we get kind of confused what we're doing now sometimes. So.
What time of the day do you have to start doing that? In the morning, what time does it start?
Well, we start at 2:30.
Oh.
We might kick it up a little bit there.
Yeah.
She starts on Saturdays a lot of times at 1:30 anyway, depending on how many orders we have. So, it's nice to have Carlos.
And then I've got to ask this question that I've always wanted to know. How do you know how many donuts to fix for a particular day? So you don't have 38 dozen left over.
It's always a guess. It really is always a guess. Typically Mondays we start out lower and just add as the week goes by, but Fridays have become a really big day now. Saturdays have always been a big day, but like during soccer, we have to almost double what we make on Saturdays because today I wasn't quite prepared for that. And I was nervous earlier because we weren't selling donuts at all, and I was, oh no, this could be one of those days. And then all these people started coming in, so then I knew we were going to run out. We didn't make enough. But I told someone yesterday, they came in and we were out of donuts, and I said, if I could predict this, I probably wouldn't be having to get up so early in the morning. I would have a really good job predicting things, but it's always a guess. I've gotten better throughout the years, but
Well, you can, and if you ever check to see what's happening in town on a Saturday, to see if there might be more people in town. Or
we
something?
try. We
Yeah.
try to kind of keep in the loop of what's going on. If there's, and I miss the tennis. Actually, I think I knew, but I forgot when we were kind
Sure.
of trying to get ready for today. I kind of forgot that one, but. Yeah, we try to keep track. Like I said, when soccer starts, we always, we know it's going to be a busy few weeks.
But
and then if it rains, we're
Well, I
really in
was
trouble.
gonna if it hadn't rained, today, you wouldn't have probably had all the tennis people there because they're supposed to start playing at 9. So
Yeah.
You got to become a weather predictor as well.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Okay.
Well, I know there's several kids that have a bag of donuts every morning when I see them in the hallways.
Really?
Yeah.
Most mornings I'm envious, but yeah, every morning they'll carry
There
a
was
donut bag.
there was one kid, and this has been probably 10 years ago, that came in every morning and bought donuts, the same donuts every morning. And I finally asked him, why do you eat this many every day? And he said, oh no, I go to school and sell them. He says, I eat what I want and I sell them. I thought,
Okay.
what a great little entrepreneur we have going on there.
That wasn't Donald Trump by any chance, was it?
No, no.
Okay, all right. Good businessman type of thing. Okay, anything else? So come in. Do you have a question?
Yeah, how many are you going to make of each donut? You're going to have a
Big
limited
question.
production, I would think.
I'm going to try to do like a dozen or two of the kinds that I'm doing every day and see how that goes.
Okay.
If of course we have a lot left over, we'll cut back. If that's not enough, we'll increase. I'm not really sure if if the teams are excited and trying to promote theirs and know, because like Monday nobody knows what I'm doing yet. But once they figure out what I'm doing, then I think we'll have to play it by ear and
We
see
want to
how many
encourage
can.
those parents to come in early
Yeah.
in
Yes.
case we don't have that.
Well, the kids must have been excited because they took all their rejects too, but it took all the donuts home for their parents to try because I think they probably think they're going to be the ones that come in.
Well, it's a good idea. Really great to get involved in something like that.
It's
And then
gonna be fun.
We appreciate, as we told you before, letting us come in here on a Saturday morning and do this.
Well, it's kind of fun too.
It's really been a
Yeah,
long,
we had
long
Logan
time.
here today. I think it'd be interesting if this is successful, seeing Logan go against Thunder Ridge, go against Northern Valley.
Yeah,
That's
that's my
coming up.
next plan.
Yeah, that would be really cool.
Get the different schools.
Get the
here.
county-wide.
Okay,
County-wide
fine.
war.
Thank you, Linda. Okay, I'll have to try those. I'll have to come in there earlier on Saturday now to try all the different ones there. Well, anything else that think I have to talk about this morning? Too early to talk about basketball.
Well, I do have several girls that remind me how many days until the first practice, and
Yeah.
so now we got homecoming out of the way, so I can focus a little bit more on that. But it is late night at the Fog tonight,
Yeah.
and unfortunately, I didn't get a ticket again this year.
Yeah.
I keep hinting to Cody, he just kind of falls through. This
Oh,
year.
I'm sure of that. Yeah.
He would
yeah.
not join me. That's for sure.
You
but-
know, I talked to my son last night, and of course he lives and dies the KU, like other son, K-State. I said, "You going in the Fog?" And I said, "Dad, it's such a mess to get in there anymore. You have to stand in line." He said he really would like to be there, and but he said he's not going to try it.
Yeah.
Try it tonight, but it's an all-day deal now. I looked, Slina Journal. It starts out in the mornings, and they have 3-on-3, and they have all kinds of things. It's not just used to be just they would do it and wait till midnight
Right.
and start, but it's a full day deal now.
Yeah, they had a list of entertainers.
Yeah, and
And,
it's really they had that $10,000 shot from half. You know
Okay,
that
yeah.
they've had that Self gives away that money, and he's lost a couple of times on that.
I think they're doing a video game contest
Yeah.
thing too, or something.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Do you like to Allen Fieldhouse? You've been there quite a bit.
Yeah, I have.
Isn't that something?
Oh, it is. It's unlike any other. You know, you have to experience it whether you're a KU
Yeah,
fan
yeah,
or not.
I know it.
It's just a
And
great venue.
Real good friend of mine who was a K-State fan. I had tickets. Eric Whitmer got a ticket to me one time, and I said, "Let's go." I don't want to go. It's K-State. he could not believe it.
Yep.
He could not believe what it was like there,
Yeah.
you know. And he said it did. KU won, which he wasn't too happy about
Sure,
that, you know. But anyway,
I don't know. It could be an exciting day for college football. I know USC got beat last night.
Yeah.
So
well, they did. I
yeah,
didn't know.
Washington.
Wow.
Washington
Okay, so
beat 'em, so
now, and of course, all of the basketball now with the coaches and the players and
yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I
was-
think
yeah.
KU is kind of. I think their Adidas contract
yeah,
might
they changed their
dissolve.
yeah,
so
they're
still up in the air right now. I think.
the contract is still hasn't been finished yet,
Yeah.
and so they're going to be sure that none of that comes in
Right.
with Adidas.
Right.
It's just too bad. It's a big business.
It's something every day. I know.
For
it.
sure. Very good.
Just don't want
Thank
it to
you.
be true.
Great job
Thanks.
there. All right.
Thanks for having me.
We'll have you on again. Well, I know we'll have you on during basketball
Right,
season.
yeah.
Okay, very
Yeah,
good.
I appreciate
Thanks a
it.
lot.
Yep.
We appreciate you coming in, Rachel. All right. Sports Talk this morning, as always, brought to you by the fine sponsors who let us come in here and talk with the coaches and different people about what's happening in the world of sports. We might mention that tennis, I think we're going to get tennis played today. They'll squeeze the courts. And if you want to see some high school tennis, it's really good. Some good teams there. The First National Bank and Trust proudly supporting Panther Athletics. Prices are falling at all of Bowie Furniture during their fall clearance sale on select king, queen, and the full-size bedding. Quantities limited, so go see Terry and Jim today and save. Sunburst Realty LLC, where you find the best homes under the sun. Professional and family eye care. See Dr. Jimman for all of your eye care needs. Coombs Trucking, you call, we haul. Weinman Firestone Tire Sales and Service, backing the youth of Phillips County. All your friends at the Farmers State Bank in Phillipsburg, where interest begins the moment you enter the door. Interest in you, member FDIC. Mapes and Miller, it's not what you make, but what you keep. Mid-America Real Estate, providing the best homes in the area for over 40 years. Blossoms and Butterflies, making beautiful flowers a part of your life. Madison Motors, in business for over 70 years. Rogers & Associates, your local trusted choice agency. Phillips County Health Systems, Phillips County Memorial, Olive Bowie Memorial Chapel. And, of course, here on a Saturday, we're able to come in here and talk with the athletes and so on, courtesy of the 3rd Street Bakery. We might mention once again here, the John Gower was the king, homecoming king, and Christina Sisson, the homecoming queen. And we hope to have them on here, but they're all doing other things on a Saturday morning. One other thing, we have trouble a lot of times getting the tennis and volleyball because they're always in competition somewhere. Football's easy because they play on Friday night. We try to get this as widespread. We're going to try to talk to another football team in the county for coming on with us next week. Anything else?
Golf disc today.
Okay.
Disc golf today.
Oh, that's right. The disc golf. Get out there. If you're one of the first 50, I think you'll get a couple of discs and have a chance to play disc golf. That's on the west side of Phillipsburg. Go out and find out about that. I'm going to have to get into that. And we had him on last week telling us about how that is. But today is the big day out there. So we'll see you next Saturday morning, 9 o'clock, and Thursday morning, 9 on the Tadpole.